welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another Amazon Prime series review. Amazon Prime is an absolutely brilliant streaming service. For the low price of £10 a month, you get music, books, a streaming service, free delivery on all, like most products, and even cheaper products as well. So for £10, you are getting so much savings that you can earn that money back. It is absolutely incredible. But today we're taking a look at The Boys spin-off because the new season of The Boys has come out and I missed out on Gen V when it first came out. So I am watching it now. It is an 8-episode live action series, all roughly around 40 to an hour and 10 minutes per episode, so you can easily watch it all in one day like I have. And the story for these long series are a little bit confusing, and let's just get into Google. Let's not delay any further and see what Google has to say. So Gen V came out in 2023. It's an action that has one season, has a 7.7 out of 10 IMDb and a 4.4 out of 5 on Amazon UK. So the lives of hormonal competitive superheroes as they are put their physical, sexual, and moral boundaries to the test. So how I'm going to do this is very similar to how I'm going to be doing The Boys Season 4 sort of review, where we're going to be taking characters and sort of going through their stories. So there is very small amount of characters here, so it is quite quick to run through. So how the season opens up is with our main character killing her parents with her new blood power, and she kills them with period blood, which I think is actually quite a sad way to die, being killed with period blood. But yeah, anyway, then we time skip to the future where we have all of our characters. They're going to university and they're all mingling, they're all getting on, and they all go out on like a party, and she saves someone from getting killed because they accidentally kill someone or almost kill someone because they're superheroes and this is the boys, so of course shit's gonna go wrong. And this is where all the characters start to split off into their own different segments. So I'm going to start off with my two favorite characters. Jordan is dealing with their sort of parents, always calling them a boy when they're not. They're they them, and I quite like that story. And I really like Jordan as a character. I think that they're really interesting and really cool. They're also badass. Their powers are fucking sick. They're a shapeshifter that can also use sound projectiles, which is fucking incredible. But they get into a sort of very sticky situation, a very iffy relationship with the main character, and they also don't do a lot else, like on their own specifically. They are like very intertwined with everyone else's story, which is they are trying to save Sam, which is the Fire Guy's brother, Golden Boy's brother, who is kept underground in the Wooden Room, or the Woods, which is an experimentation, like an experimenting facility under the school, and that's the mystery that they're trying to uncover, and we have them all uncovering it at different paces. We have, obviously, Andre and his girlfriend sort of working out a little bit faster than the others. M actually goes in there and breaks Sam out, but then gets into like a relationship with Sam. And then we also have our main character dealing with all the trauma. Everyone's got trauma, everyone has trauma, everyone has issues in this show. And they all get their memory wiped, and then they all get their memories wiped again, and then they get it back, and then they sort of go into the head of the main character, and it is really well done with how the mystery is sort of told, because it gives us it like drip fed. It drip feeds us information, and every time it mentions like a character from the boys, like Homelander, Queen Maeve, A Train, The Deep, or even Soldier Boy, it will cut to like a statue of them, and then the main characters will come in around it. And I think that's really cool storytelling. I just thought that was a quick little detail which I would like to mention here. But all the characters are really fucking good. I've been rooting for these guys. I've had the emotion roller coaster every time. Like I've been rooting for Jordan and I've been rooting for M. Like those two are my favorite two fucking characters. I love those two, and I have been rooting for them. They've had highs, they've had lows, and I felt bad for them, and I felt awesome for them. Like these characters, for whatever fucking I connect to them so well, and I don't know, they're just so fucking good, and that I've literally just covered 6 episodes, and I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'm gonna get back onto the final 2 episodes now, because this series is too fucking good. So episode 7 proceeds with them all basically trying to sort of find the dean and get her side of things and get information on it. And Sam ends up getting involved with a frat party and getting basically indoctrinated into feeling like Soups are the superior like species and that they should kill all humans. We then have the gang going to the dean's house and killing the dean. Not by their choice, but by the mind controlling girl. And then they all basically have an argument. We have all of the other three going up against Sam and I forgot her name, the mind controlling girl, because those two go to the woods and set everyone free, and then there's a massive fucking bloodbath all over campus, and Homelander comes in, laser eyes Marie, and then all four of them, Emma, Jordan, Marie, and Andre, all wake up in a science lab. But there's no door, so they don't have to get out. And that's where the series ends. So it ends on a massive fucking cliffhanger. And Jordan and the mind controlling girl are still out there and still on a fucking rampage. I felt so fucking bad for Emma as well when she was being yelled at by Jordan in that like conference room. I felt so fucking awful for her. And throughout this entire series, I literally just wanted to give Emma a hug because I felt like she I don't know, she was like I don't know, I just felt like she needed one like the entire series. When she met Sam, I was so fucking happy for her. And then Sam like switched up just because he went to one fucking frat party and I don't know. I felt really bad for Emma in there, and I wanted to give her a hug again. I was upset that I wanted to give her a hug again because I thought she was going to have a happy ever after with Sam, but nope, that's not how it turns out. And she seemed pretty chill when she was in that science lab. She was literally just drinking a slushy. Where did she get the slushy from? I have no fucking clue, but I want a fucking slushy. But yeah, her shrinking and growing powers were were CGI'd very poor. You could tell it was green screened and you could tell it wasn't real. Whereas the blood and the gore and the penises were very fucking real. They looked almost realistic to like fully correct. And this entire series is a breath of fresh air from The Boys because I feel like The Boys as a show is getting quite boring and repetitive and stale these past 4 seasons. So this is a nice bit of breath of fresh air with some new characters being introduced, a new story, and this show would work on its own without all the added details of like Homelander, Black Noir, A Train, Queen Maeve, Ashley, all these little details and nods to The Boys and like side characters to The Boys being introduced and shown in here. Without those guys, it would be perfect. It would be like, just normal and average. And it would be a good show, nonetheless. It doesn't need The Boys to stand on its own, and I like that about this show. And that's what makes a good spin off, if it can stand on its own without the original show, like, there to support it. I really like the cast here. I really enjoyed all their characters, all their bonding, all their arguments, all their quarrels. You can really feel the connection and the bond all these characters had. I do feel like season 7 did do a little bit of a cheap out when they were discovering like the green room and the disease, where they just had a guy drunkenly walk into the room and like fully spill the tea. I feel like that was really lazy and there could have been more interesting ways for them to do that. And it just felt like they couldn't think of anything, so they just went with like, oh, drunk man who's just talking to himself. I'm gonna be honest, Chief. That is very, very unrealistic. I don't like that, and it made me feel like this show was quite cheap in that aspect. And to be fair, it's the only way that I thought it was cheap. There is a couple of plot holes as well, where Dusty just fucking died and no one really gave a shit. He got exploded in like the mind controlling girl's head, like in her mind, and fucking never came back, and no one ever fucking mentioned his death, like at all. Like, I'm a little bit upset by that, and I thought they would have acknowledged him at least a little bit. And I do like Jordan and Marie's relationship. I think that is really cool and really interesting, and I want to see more from them. And there's all these like subtle little details where Jordan goes into the male form to show dominance and to argue and to try and prove a point. And I don't know, it's just these like, little subtle details which bring into the character and make them more realistic, make them more relatable, make them more sort of real characters instead of just like these fictional sort of people which seem really unrealistic. So I like that. It makes them a little bit more real and gives them a little bit more personality than what they would normally have on the screen. Of course, it's the boys, so like in all boys fashion, there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of blood, gore, and nudity. And I felt like this was pretty good at that. Like it didn't have as much nudity, like unnecessary nudity, and it didn't have as much unnecessary violence as what the boys does. And I sometimes think like the nudity and like the fetish scenes and the sort of sex scenes and like the all these weird sort of out of pocket scenes from the boys is what makes the boys, but does also bring it down a little bit and sort of like I don't know, it just takes away from the story. Whereas here, they don't do that. They're actually able to focus on this story for all 8 episodes without having like a giant drawn out like fetish scene for like shock value, which I like. I like that. I like how it can actually stay real to the characters and keep them together and keep them interesting and keep them fresh as well. I don't know. I just really like these cast of characters. I'm excited for Gen V season 2. I hope it comes out soon. And it is also very interesting that we get the Mind Control Girl and Sam in The Boys season 5. Them returning is really interesting, and you kind of have to watch this to understand The Boys as well, because they do bring this superhero killing drug into The Boys, and these 4 are classed as missing. They're called missing personnel, and that's pretty shocking as well. Um, coming into this show, I didn't expect Emma, Sam, and Jordan to be my favorite characters. Um, I normally pick my favorite characters straight off the poster. I normally like the goofy, sort of silly characters, and Emma fits that role pretty perfectly. But she also has other qualities which I do like, and I don't know, her story is like one of the more interesting ones, and I was very invested in her character and Jordan's character. I felt like those two were the most interesting, complex characters that didn't get enough screen time. I would have loved for those two to have way more screen time than what they had, and you never know, maybe in season 2. I also got spoiled on TikTok, but because of TikTok's sort of how like the frame measurements, I thought Jordan got exploded instead of the mind reading girl's arm. So I thought Jordan died on TikTok. So I went into the last episode fully expecting Jordan to die. But no, Jordan survived. I fucking love that. And the puppet scene was so fucking perfect. The puppet scene was so goofy, so silly, but it kept to the point and kept with the sort of idea of his schizophrenia I think he had. And it showed all of his visions to be like puppet like. So keeping with that was really cool, but I liked how the blood was glitter. And it didn't take itself seriously in this moment, and it didn't need to. It was just a funny little quirky scene with puppets. And seeing Deep as a puppet was really disgusting as well. I didn't like the Deep as a puppet. It was fucking gross. But I am going to give this series a 10 out of 10. I think it is really good, and I'm hyped for season 2, and it also has a lot of potential, and I think it could surpass The Boys because it has a really good story, a really interesting cast of characters. It may not have had a highest of budgets just because of the shrinking CGI seemed really off, but I do feel like in season 2 it could be the best it could ever be, and it still has a lot of wiggle room to grow. So, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video, and I'm definitely going to recommend you go watch this. However, I'm not your mum or your father, so you can go make your own mind up. And other than that, yeah, expect Lego customs based on this show coming in the next couple of weeks. Just need to get a couple of parts ready to make these guys, but bye bye.